Hello and welcome to the Investigative Podcast. Today we are going to focus on a local myth or legend, as others may refer to it as, from Jamestown, North Carolina. My name is Alex Nelson, a senior at High Point University, communication major and a management minor from Clayton, North Carolina.
I'm Kyla Molina, a sophomore at High Point University studying journalism and from Maryland. Jamestown is one of North Carolina's smallest towns, but has one famous ghost story about a woman named Lydia. We first spoke with Jimmy Tomlin of the High Point Enterprise.
She was supposedly on her way home from a dance with her boyfriend, and there was a wreck there at the underpass, the old underpass in Jamestown, and she was killed. And the story is that people drive by the underpass, and some people just report that they've seen her out there. Others reported that they actually picked her up and offered her a ride home. And so she would get in the back seat of the car. She's dressed like she would be for having gone to a dance, and she's all wet. It's supposed to be a rainy night when it happened. And she gets in the back car and she tells them she's trying to get home to her mother in High Point because her mother's going to be worried that she's late. So they give her a ride home. She gives them the address, and they drive to that address. And the guy, he gets out of the car and walks around to open the door for her, and she's gone.
The man Jimmy is talking about is Burke Hardison. He was the first one who ever recounted seeing Lydia in 1924.
He can't figure out what's happened with her. He goes to the house thinking maybe she got out real quick and ran inside before I had a chance to do anything. So he goes and he knocks on the door, and there's an elderly woman who comes to the door, and he starts to tell the story. I picked up your daughter and I brought her home, and she disappeared. I just wanted to make sure she got into the house safely. And the mother tells the story that her daughter was killed at that bridge.
We spoke to a man named Tom Beasley who claims to have seen Lydia. Although there had been multiple versions said, the story aligns very similarly to what Jimmy shared.
Probably around 1972, a friend of mine and I had gone to Greensboro for a night in the town, so to speak. We were coming home probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a very nasty night, foggy, drizzle. We had passed Guilford County Community College, and we were coming down the hill towards the underpass, and there was a girl standing on the side of the road. Long white dress, just standing there, which really was kind of shocking. On a nasty night at 2 o'clock in the morning, who are you going to see on the side of the road? Well, my friend was asleep, so I punched him as we passed her, and I asked, did you see her? And he said, see who? I said, the girl on the side of the road. He said, oh, you're crazy.
Tom turned the car around so his friend Richard Cook could see what he saw.
She's still on the right-hand side of the road, but another strange occurrence, she's sitting on the ground. Okay, so I pull the car over to the right-hand side of the road, and at this point, I can't really see what's going on. He's got the window down, and he's hanging out the window looking down at her, so I'm pretty much looking at his back. And he doesn't say anything. So I punched him and I said, say something. He still doesn't say anything. So I punch him again. And I said, say something. And he said, move the car. And I said, what? He said, move the damn car. So I slap the car in gear. We take off into the road. The girl starts screaming.
Come back, come back.
He said, don't go back. So I went on. Well, just right up the street, we entered Jamestown, and I said, what was that all about? Why didn't you say something? And he said, that just scared me to death. I said, what? He said, it looks like she had just been, beaten up or in a wreck or something.
There have also been multiple reports of the name of the ghost Lydia. Michael Ringer, a historian, searched further for the truth of her name.
people have said her name was Lydia, so everybody's been looking in the wrong place.
Emily Manzik, a senior at High Point University, did her own research to find out more about the legend of Lydia and possibly found out the real identity of her. I just typed in Lydia, really vague information, Greensboro around the 1920s, and was just scrolling through a lot of different death certificates. And I found this girl her name is Annie Jackson. We had also taken a look at Annie L. Jackson's birth certificate, and there did seem to be a bizarre connection between the two. So I looked at old newspapers, and I came across an article in the Greensboro Patriot from June in 1920. On the front page was actually an article on Annie Jackson's car accident. I was reading the details of the article, and it was eerily similar to Lydia's story. Michael seems to confirm Emily's research.
With her name being Annie L. Jackson, what I think is perhaps Annie's middle name was Lydia, and maybe she was even known as Lydia instead of Annie.
If you're on Main Street in Jamestown on a rainy, foggy night and you pass under a bridge with graffiti and see a ghost, it might happen to be the hitchhiker herself, Lydia.
While we've heard different accounts of what may or may not have happened that dark, drizzly night in Jamestown, North Carolina, we're not so sure that we believe it. I think it's hard for us to believe these accounts when we haven't seen, felt, or experienced Lydia ourselves. We did drive out there one day while it was raining to see if we would see Lydia, but to no luck. So if you have better luck on a rainy day to see Lydia, please let us know. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, take care.